boyfriend in the past? And do you know what you get called when you have a ginger boyfriend? Not the ginger, the person with the ginger.
So you're probably a Rango Wrangler.
Welcome to Talk Dirt to Me. Today we got Pat.
Howdy.
And he is from Australia. He's our Australian brother. So, Pat, Alex has been working on his Australian accent, for a little while. Would you like to hear what Alex has for you?
Sure.
Well, I wasn't welcoming you here, Pat, today when we're coming from a land down under.
And that's enough of that. Thank you very much.
Come on, mate. So, unfortunately, I actually am just getting over a little bit of the avian flu, so my accent is subpar. Sorry.
That's definitely
the avian flu, or is it the swine flu, or?
No, it's the one where we had to kill 60% of the bird population over here to get rid of.
Yeah, just another. Was this one done by, a certain doctor that just got a pardon as well, or is that something different?
I mean, we don't ever really know the true facts over here until it's about 30 years later.
We find out.
I don't know. In 15 days, there's going to be a bit of information about RFK, JFK, MLK.
Yep.
I don't even follow it, so I don't even know what we're going to find out.
Well, I mean, every 30 years in America, they declassify certain classified documents every 30 years to general public knowledge. So,
well, we get to find out some stuff. So, Patrick, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where you come from, what you do?
Yeah, so I grew up in Melbourne. Or Victoria, so second biggest state in in Australia. Moved around quite a bit, so I've lived all up and down the eastern seaboard. When I've basically been in sort of like customer service, retail, that sort of stuff, pretty much my whole life. And then my last job doing that was at our version of Home Depot, Bunnings. Pretty sure a lot of people would know Bluey, the kids show, and it's Hammer Barn. And that made me never want to work in retail ever again, or work with people ever again. One of the guys that I worked with there went and got his, we call it a HR license equivalent to your CDL license, and sort of quizzed him on how difficult it was to do that, and it was a lot easier than what I had sort of thought. And I'd always wanted to do this, and I thought, I'm going to have a crack at this, and passed my license first go. Where I was living at the time, it was really difficult to get in the industry. It was kind of, unless you knew someone, you were screwed. And anyway, I moved back to my home state and got job offers straight away. And I'd actually applied for, we call it rear lift here, but rear load. And the manager at the place where I applied decided that that was not going to be mentally stimulating enough for me, and put me straight into front load. And so I feel very happy about that in terms of, I was very lucky that I didn't have to sort of climb the ladder. Right. And yeah, it's been about 8 years, I think 8 years in July this year. And in my second state now, and love it. It's a great job. I think it's a job that a lot of people don't think about doing, and think about it being a good job. And I'm quite happy in a way to keep it like that, because it means that the talent pool is a lot smaller, which means keeps the wages up a little bit. But so.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, so you've showed me some videos and stuff like that. Bro, your trucks are like way better than our trucks, man. I'm telling you. What, Alex?
Go on.
You got something to say? Alex ready to go, man. He's ready to go. You got to go down the street and get one of them Joeys to come, fight him. That's what he keeps talking about. He keeps talking about the Joeys. So I'm like, dude, they're kangaroos.
Is that like Joey Biden?
No, like the Joey kangaroos. The baby kangaroos.
Well, I mean, it's kind of fitting. I did see a few of the videos that you did share with Shawn. So is that truck you drive a Hino or a Isuzu?
No, it's a DAF. Yeah. I think I was saying to Shawn that I think the main difference that we have here, and pretty much actually almost anywhere else in the world, possibly with the exception of the UK, is that we just buy a truck that you would put you could put a cement mixer, like a delivery body, pretty much anything on, and we just plonk our our compactor bodies on top of them. Obviously, there's a little bit of networking between the two products, but I think over there you guys seem to have gone down the avenue of we build these specific trucks that are specifically used for the refuse industry. Whereas we're just like, we did a long time ago here have Iveco's Australian operation. So when they used to make trucks here, they used to make what they called an ACO, which every Australian garbage man would know, and even a lot of Australian people would know, which was Australian constructed cab over. Rough as guts. We have a few of them. I should send Shawn some photos.
Yeah.
They're a good vehicle, but they were purpose built for either waste or concrete agitators. You never see them with basically any other type of body on the vehicle. Pretty much, from a comfortability and a reliability point of view, once you started having Volvo, DAF, Scania come in at only a marginal cost difference, companies were like, we don't want to buy these trucks anymore. We want to just be able to go buy whatever we want and put a body on it and send it out to work.
Wow. That's interesting.
So, do you know the max weight you guys are able to carry down there with those style trucks?
So the total legally, so in Australia, a lot of the truck stuff is done like legality. So we have very, very strict requirements on brakes. We have strict requirements on weights. So the trucks are legally able to max out at 28 ton. So that's obviously truck and like total. Yep. Most of the trucks are capable of holding about 10 ton of load. So some of that, our company specifically makes, we're the only company that make our own bodies. So we have in Queensland, which is where our company is based, they have a whole division that makes dumpsters and that makes the truck bodies for residential sidearm and for front load. We used to make rear load bodies, but they're just too affordable now to just buy off the shelf. So our rear lift bodies are now just bought off the shelf from the two other companies that make them here. But so we make them really light. So a lot of our trucks can hold a little bit more than, say, a commercially purchased body.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So you guys do have sidearms out there?
Yeah, our sidearms are a little bit different to yours. They don't sort of use like a rail arm where it's sort of the bin slides up on the rail. They have a claw that goes all the way out, and it's all hydraulic. So there's no... I know yours is a hydraulic, but it doesn't run on like a track. I've seen a lot of yours grab the bin and then run it up a track and into the truck. Ours work on just an arm that comes out, grabs the bin. It can extend out probably about 10 feet, from the truck out to the curb. Yeah, so most of, probably 95% of domestic pickup is done that way here.
Right. Yeah, so most of our trucks work the same, except for Alex's truck. Alex has the candy cane truck.
Yep.
We call it the candy cane.
Yep. Where it goes up the rails?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because the one truck I have is a McNeilus body, which is it has like a candy cane on a arm extension, but the whole candy cane moves when you're moving it in and out.
Yeah.
What we see from a lot of the industries, because we actually buy a lot of Canadian trucks or Canadian bodies known as Labrie. So those run on a cylinder system instead of a rail system. So basically it has a chain attached to two different cylinders. It goes out, grabs it, and then it kicks it up and away from the truck and then dumps it in.
Yep.
Where most of the other ones we see are the ones where they have the whole rail that moves out, grabs a can, then brings it up the rail, which, I don't know, it all depends on the market area usually in the United States. Some people swear by certain brands, but, I think it's pretty similar, though, to what you guys have going on over there.
The arm is our arm is just hydraulics though, so it actually the big the grab that slides out of the truck is on one long hydraulic ram that literally slides across, and then just the claw is then on separate hydraulics which throws the bin up like that. So there's no, it's quite, if you have a look at a video of it, it's quite different. I think our trucks that we use for residential are quite a bit smaller than yours. So they're probably a good maybe 2 or 3 meters or 2 or 3 yards shorter. Yeah, I've seen quite a few videos and stuff. they're quite different in the operation if you have a look at them. The principle is still the same. It was actually that whole side operation though was, anyone correct me if I'm wrong, it's actually pretty sure it was invented here though. There's a company that's part of the same, I'm not going to say the business I work for, but people can work it out. It's part of the same family, and they actually so they built it from the ground up in the early 70s.
Oh, okay.
And that's where their name comes from, that single operator system. The only places that we do anything else is right in the center of a few of the cities and in some of the really older suburbs that were done when there was no driveway, so you've basically got cars parked the entire length of the street. They still do a little bit on rear load, but it's not the efficiency, it's the insurances. A lot of people go, oh, it's because it's cheaper to have one person in a truck. It's not cheaper. They don't go as fast. What it is that, even, from, and look, it may vary over there, but even here for front lift is more profitable than what rear load or anything else is. Part of it is the volume per hour, but a lot of it is the insurance, because a rear load driver is significantly more likely to get injured, run over, anything than what someone who is sitting most of the day in the truck. It's not to say that we don't, we have a lot of pull-outs and stuff like that, but the rate of injuries and stuff on rear load is a lot higher.
Yeah, same. How is the cars with you guys over there? Are they like pretty respectful when you're in the road, or do they just like try to go around you, get by?
You're
we
so
got somewhere to go.
funny. Look, no, I shouldn't say that. Look, I think a lot of people, probably about 70-80% of people, they don't want to hit the truck. They know that if they hit the truck, their car's going to be screwed. Mm-hmm. If, that they keep back, but not because of courtesy, but because they don't want to damage their car. It's really dependent. Like I've done this job in 3 capital cities that all have very different challenges with drivers. I think the biggest thing is when you're reversing out onto main roads and stuff like that, that's where you sort of really have a bit of a struggle, and sometimes you just have to go. You sort of get that gap, and you're just, you have your beacons on, and you have to go. Because if you don't go, you'll never get out of there.
Right. Yeah. So it's a task all in itself. Just like here, but, hopefully they're a little bit safer over there. Like, they're not safe here.
I think pedestrians are significantly more dangerous than other cars.
Right.
The amount of times that you have people walk behind you, you've got your reverse beacons on, you've got your buzzer going, everything, and they just walk straight behind the truck. And it's, I know common sense isn't that common anymore, but what I don't understand is I was taught as a child, if you see my dad was not a truck driver or anything, but it was, if you see a truck maneuvering, you do not go anywhere near it.
Right.
And and quite often it's customers. Quite often it's actually the customers that are doing it, and it's you sort of sit there and go, "The hell are you doing?"
Right. You've had anybody walk underneath your fork shut? Like you'll have the camera?
Heaps of times.
Like,
heaps of times.
I hate that. Yeah.
And again, I actually had a customer who was our office staff. So you'd have a similar authority there. We have one here called WorkSafe. Basically, they look after dangerous situations in workplaces. I had a customer drive their forklift directly under me while I was putting a bin down. And, didn't hit them or anything. And our trucks are continuously recording. And they sent the footage to their head office and said, if one of your operators ever does this again, we will call WorkSafe and you will get a fine. It's supposed to be a 6-meter exclusion zone from the truck. They brought the bin out to us. They told me to empty the bin at that location. And they were like, nope, I want to load this truck and I'm going to drive straight underneath you. So, yeah, it happens heaps. Look, we had a incident about, I'm going to say 6 or 7 years ago. One of the big companies here actually killed someone. It was at we call it Hungry Jack's, but it is Burger King. He was looking at something. I don't know if he was looking at his computer or something, and these people walked straight under, and it was unfortunately, it was an elderly couple, and he put it down on the wife and killed her. That actually instigated that company rolling out infrared sensors on the front of the truck that would stop if you, on the downward action of the arms, if someone walked underneath, it would stop the bin.
Damn, I wish they'd put them on our truck.
Yeah, I actually had them on a truck that I've never worked for that company, but a truck that they were going to get that for whatever reason didn't get delivered to them, came delivered to the company I was working at. They were very hit and miss. You know, sometimes they'd work, sometimes they'd stop the arms for absolutely no reason. You only just had to hit like a reset button on the dash. But, you know, I think nothing's going to be a replacement for common sense.
Right. That's true. That's definitely true. I'm waiting for Alex to ask something. Alex said he had like 1,000 questions, and now look at him. He's not even saying nothing.
Just making sure we're, past that cutoff mark. That's all.
Yeah, we're past it. Go ahead.
So, in a lot of literature out here that we have for a lot of different books and authors and stuff, there's a saying that everyone says that most Australians use, and I apologize if I'm butchering it or gumming it up, but the saying I believe goes, "We're not here to fuck spiders." Is that a common saying at all, or no?
Oops, I've lost you.
He just left you, bro.
Okay.
He wanted nothing to do with you
I
anymore,
lost you
man.
there. You'll have to start again.
All right, so the common saying that most of the people in literature use over here when they're talking about like an Australian or kind of like a catchphrase is, "We're not here to fuck spiders."
No.
Is that a common saying over there? Or?
No, that is... Do you know what that sounds like? First of all, Shawn says I'm supposed to send you spiders in the mail. Like, a lot of them.
Alex loves
Like,
spiders, man.
A box of them, you know, a couple of redbacks, couple of whitetails, you know.
Yeah. You can send them to me, though. I'll take them. I love spiders.
Look, no, that I think I've heard someone say that once before. I think that is about the equivalent of Outback Steakhouse, but in literary sense.
Okay.
So, first of all, Outback Steakhouse is from Florida. It has nothing to do with Australia. I think we've got like 2 or 3 of them in Australia. They're like a novelty thing. I think actually it's probably more like Chinese and Indian tourists go to them more than Australians ever go there. We do not deep fry onions. That is not a thing at all. If you went up to 100 people on the street and said, "Do you know what a blooming onion is?" I would be amazed if more than 10 people had any idea what you're talking about.
And we know what they are. We cook them a lot.
Yeah,
Well,
but they're not Australian.
No.
That is not an Australian thing at all.
I didn't even know it was. I didn't even know that's where they said it came out of.
Is there
That's what
anything, is there anything from your standpoint, living in Australia, that really irks you about us over here, kind of like, stereotyping or misconceiving?
From a personal point of view, not real. Probably the only thing is, it's not like an irk. Probably that I would say, Australians are not as polite as you think that we are. Australians are really lazy, and we kind of mask that with a kind of... and I don't mean like from a work ethic point of view. Like, Australians work really hard. Everywhere we go in the world, my sister spent a lot of time in the UK, and she's a hairdresser. And they loved Australians and New Zealanders because we have a really good work ethic. But I mean in terms of, if you go into a shop here and ask where something is, you'll be lucky if they even tell you the aisle number. They will never walk you to a product, show you what it is, tell you anything about it. They'll just be like, "Oh, it's over there somewhere." That's so. But we say it with a smile, so it makes us seem like we're really polite and pleasant and stuff like that, and not really. The second thing is that, especially in probably, I'm going to say the last 10 years, Americans often think, probably until they come here, unless they come from somewhere like, and no offense to Shawn, unless they come from somewhere like New York or California, they think that Australia has like a lot of freedoms and a lot of stuff like that. No, Australia is heading on exactly the same track as Europe. Freedom of speech does not exist. You cannot say a lot of things. You cannot do a lot of things. Even comedians get hauled up in front of like, I've forgotten what it's actually called, but it's like a, causing offense commission. Like, you can actually get subpoenaed to have to go to that. There's a really good comedian, you might have heard of, Isaac Butterfield. He's got a big beard. He has literally been hauled up in front of them a couple of times, and if you don't go, like, you can actually get like arrested.
Really?
Things here cost like an outrageous amount. I sent a few things to Shawn just to show an example of how much stuff costs here.
Right.
$35
for Tide Pod.
Yeah. Alex falling off his chair. I bought. Oh my god, I can't. Scotch fillet, which I think is the same as the New York strip steaks the other day from the supermarket. Like $17, less than a half a pound of meat. cost of living here. So yes, we do get paid more, but cost of living here is insane. You can look at, so I'm on about $35 an hour. Some of the states you'll get up to $40 an hour, but you could also be paying, $700 a week in rent.
I mean, if that's all you're paying for rent over here, I mean, we're paying anywhere from $1,400 to $1,500 for a 3-bedroom apartment.
Alex, he said a week.
Yeah, but that's per month, not per week. Not per week. Yeah, that's per week.
I picked up on that immediately.
Yeah. Things like, it's even simple stuff like car registration is $800-900 per year. Fuel is we'll say about $8 a gallon. I like to do some conversions. Yeah, it really sort of put a hammer on it. Pretty much now, unless you're earning $200,000 a year, like before tax, you can't get approved for a mortgage. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the mortgage is say only if you can find somewhere that's say $500,000, you will still not get approved. You don't earn $200,000. Well, chance of you buying a house is about zero.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, Australia, not really the lucky country.
No.
Extremely current government is extremely left. Most of the states are, except I think maybe 2, are run by the left party here, which is the Labor Party. Exactly the same thing that's happened politically over there, though. The Labor Party used to be the party of the workers, hence what's called the Labor Party, is now the party of the educated elite, and the party that sits on the right, which ridiculously is called the Liberal Party. They're not, it's more about supposed to be like financially liberal. The Liberal Party used to be the party of the wealthy and everything like that, is now becoming the party of common sense, party for the working people, So it's same political turnabout, just the issue here is that it's moved so much more to the left than you guys did.
Right. That's crazy, man. Like, when you were sending me them pictures of the prices, man, I was like, man. Do you have a family?
No. Oh, I have a partner, so I'm gay. Not one of those type of gays. You can see, yes, no. I'm in the new term that seems to have come out since last year. I'm a normal gay. Okay. There is only 2 genders. It's no more than that. It stops at 2.
Right.
Drag shows are not for kids, etc. Anyway. So just me, my partner, and 2 dogs.
Okay.
I'm lucky that I earn a good wage, so we live reasonably well. But yeah, it's hard.
Right.
You go pretty much now. You can bargain that a bag of groceries at the supermarket is $50. So no matter what you put into it, each bag is going to cost you $50.
Insane.
That's crazy because you sent me the bill earlier and you spent $100. And now you imagine if you had kids, that's like triple. That's like triple that if you had kids.
I know people that spend $450 a week at the supermarket.
Right.
And that's just on sort of basics and stuff like that. And this is, again, no different to your election last year. They say, that things are better. My wallet says they're not better. But right. my grocery bill, my fuel bill, everything says it is not getting better. And that they don't seem to get this. We had one of the big promises was, we're going to give you $300 a year off your electricity bill. So to put it in perspective, so electricity bills here are issued every quarter. Every quarter, you get charged a service to property fee. So it's basically like the fee that they charge for building the power lines and everything like that. That fee every quarter is over $100. So there is no $300 off your power bill. It's just that for 3 quarters of the year, we're going to pay your service to property charge. Thank you so much. That means a lot. That's meant that I can go buy that new Mercedes this year.
Right. So what's changing your mind to come to America? Like, why, you know what I'm saying? Do you think it's just better here?
Look, I think everywhere has its challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, that two big things for me, which is usually like when people ask me this question, it's 2 things, and they're your First and Second Amendment. As I said, we have no protection of free speech here. As you can probably tell, I'm pretty political. I like to think I'm pretty common sense politically, but I'm pretty political. I really worry about sometimes I might post something on Facebook and then sit there and go, don't know if I should have done that. The second thing is,
Right.
and probably what is really a big issue here, is that we have no legal protection to protect ourselves, like quite literally. So if someone breaks into your house here, you are not allowed to fight, you are only allowed to flight. So you are allowed to apply equal pressure to get them to leave the situation. However, if you have the opportunity to exit the situation, you're legally bound to exit the situation before you're allowed to respond to the situation. So someone breaks in, you have to run before you're allowed to fight.
That's crazy.
That's a legality in Australia, is that you are not allowed. So if they come in with, they've got a knife, you cannot hit them back with a baseball bat.
What?
The odds are you
That
will
is
get
insane.
charged. You will be the one that will be arrested, probably before they are.
That's so crazy.
And that
Yeah, well-
like we have a legal immigration problem in Australia, not an illegal. We're lucky we're an island, so obviously we can control our border very differently than you can. We don't have an illegal immigration problem anymore. So keeping in mind the size of Australia, over the last 2 years, the current government's brought in about, I think it's roughly about 1.4 million people. We have no houses in Australia. We literally don't. Like to get you, especially in the capital cities and stuff like that, you will see people put up videos on TikTok, Instagram and stuff, that they'll go to a rental inspection to like look at a rental property, and there'll be 50 to 100 people all looking at the same rental property.
That's crazy.
And so the answer is that we're bringing these people in to help build these houses, but none of these people are builders or electricians or carpenters or anything. They're none of those things. So they're just bringing in people that we have nowhere to put. And then because of the government incentives to them to come here, they can afford to outbid effectively people that live here to get a house, and therefore there is no houses to get.
Right. So, Alex, I'm going to ask you, you still want to go to Australia?
No.
Look, there's a lot of
gonna
amazing
ask a
parts
question
about
a minute ago,
Australia,
Alex.
but yeah,
Or be like tourist,
Yeah.
probably, right?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes. Are you
Yes,
still there?
what?
But yeah. Did you say, do we want to hear some amazing parts to live there?
Oh, no, I said there is some amazing things in
Yeah,
Australia.
that's what I wanted to hear that. Yes.
Amazing places, overall, like the city that I live in Adelaide, it's fantastic. It's the smallest of the capital cities. So there's only about 1 million people here. It's beautiful. We have, arguably one of the best wine regions in the world. It's one of the places I service twice a week. The Barossa Valley. There's a lot of great things here. It's just that to live here now is not. It's not as described. The box says, "Fantastic, come in, 50% free." Blah blah blah. No, you open the box and there's a dried out prune in the bottom of the box. That's kind of the thing. It's not what it used to be. Even like we had a world of change during COVID. And that changed the whole world. Like, we can't deny that changed the whole world. I lived at the time, like all through COVID, I lived in Victoria, which was the most locked down place in the world. We weren't allowed to go more than 3 miles away from our house. I didn't see my parents. Over 2 years, I think I saw them maybe 3 times, even though they only lived 60 miles away.
Wow.
We weren't allowed to travel to other states. It was terrible. Like, it was really, really bad. And a lot of that stuff has flowed on. That state now, their debt is more than 2 of the other big states. So my state that I live in now and Queensland, their debt is more than those 2 states combined. And I think from next year, their interest repayments on their state debt is more per year than my entire state's debt. Just the interest repayments, not the actual debt level. They're just their interest repayments are more. So they've introduced all these land taxes and stuff like that. They're broke. The state is actually broke.
Wow, that's crazy. So during COVID here, we had to work. Like, we had to work during all COVID. They gave us a card to carry in our trucks.
Yep.
And we had to carry it with us. They did the same to you guys?
Yeah, so we had a work permit. So obviously garbage doesn't stop for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a paper work permit that we had to carry with us. If the police pulled you over, you had to present it. Otherwise, you'd get arrested. The police in that state were fantastic, shooting rubber bullets at people. arresting 80-year-old women sitting on a park bench. Yeah, they were fucking really good. But yeah, we had all that shit.
Loved it, man. Man, that's some crazy stuff. So, man, did you ever get stopped for it? Because we never even got messed with. Like, we just went to work and it was like a normal day.
Once, and I had a really, really arrogant cop. I have a lot of respect for police. During this time, though, it brought out the worst of the police. Like, none of the police agencies in Australia can recruit people anymore. They're actually recruiting people from overseas because no one wants to be a cop in Australia. Yeah, really arrogant was basically, what are you doing? Like, you're in a garbage truck. I'm not delivering ice cream. You know, what do you think that I'm doing? You know, is there any... And I kind of got... Look, admittedly, I kind of got a bit obstropolous with him. But at the same token, it's like, what do you think I'm doing? You know, 4 a.m. in the morning driving a garbage truck, I'm not going out shopping. So, yeah. But only once. Only awesome. Once I got pulled over, so...
Yeah, we got lucky. Alex, I never got messed with. You ever get messed with, Alex?
Nope. Never had any run-ins with any cops about anything. The only thing I had to worry about was finding a dead body in a toter.
So that's what we were worried about. Because here they started to say that the ambulances aren't going to come for you. So if you died in your house, the ambulances ain't coming for you because they were stockpiling them up somewhere. That's what they said. Yeah. And we were waiting to look in the can and find a dead body, and just never happened. But
organics, wrong truck.
I definitely did not.
Sorry, that's a different truck.
Bring out your dead.
Alex back with his accent.
Ding, 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 ding.
That was Monty Python. I mean, I think Pat at least knows that. Come on.
I absolutely do. John Cleese is one of the absolute best. That's not an Australian accent. That's a British accent.
Right, as I said.
Alex, tell him the story about the knife.
Which one?
Remember when I said your knife's bigger than mine?
You mean the
Knifey Spoony? I see you've played Knifey Spoony before. We don't sound like that. Knifey Spoony. Knifey.
Wasn't it Crocodile Dundee, right?
Yeah, that's
I'm sure it's an American
mine's
movie.
The Simpsons reference.
Now, so one interesting fact is, because your name down below says Garbo. Now, that's what you guys call yourselves down there, is Garbo men?
No, that's because I'm named after Greta Garbo. No, not really. Sorry, I couldn't help that. I was thinking about that while you were saying. I was like, what am I going to say? No, I don't know where it come from. I suppose it's just like we like to shorten a lot of words here, and garbage man, and they just shortened it to Garbo. We don't call ourselves Garbo men or Garbo women or Garbo people, Joe Biden. It's just Garbo. Like, yeah, that's everyone. It doesn't matter whether you drive, front load, rear load, side load, hook lift. Doesn't matter. It's just everyone's the same.
Okay, all right. Now, I had to teach Shawn that over in the UK they call trucks lorries. Do you guys call them utes over there?
Well, no. A lorry, though, is like a truck the size of like a garbage truck. You're talking about like pickup trucks. Pickup trucks we call utes for utility. However, that came about because we used to have the Hyundai Santa Cruz. So we used to, the two car companies, or the two cars that we used to produce in Australia, the Ford Falcon and the Holden Commodore, used to have a utility back version of those sedans. They have started more calling them trucks here now that we have like the Ford Ranger, we have the F-150, the Silverado, they've now started to call them trucks a little bit more. But that's the reason the ute came from the Holden and the Ford utes that we used to have all the way back from like the 60s. But yeah, we do call them still utes. If you saw one on the road, you'd go, oh, that's a nice ute.
There you go, Alex. Now you have
shortening words. Ute, utility.
Yeah.
Now, don't you guys call the band AC/DC something different over there?
Yeah, it depends on the context. You would probably say, like, if you were going, say they were doing like a tour or like a stage show, you would say, I'm going to AC/DC. Probably if you talk to some people though, and what are you listening there? They might say, I'm listening to Akadaka. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Do you know where that originated from at all, or?
No idea. I would say it's that we like to make words fucking up. I don't know. I would
not
say
every
it just
letter in it.
literally came. I now have to look it up to see if there is a thing. I don't know. I don't know where that.
You don't or send it.
No, I think it's just. I don't think there's any reason when you Google it. There's no like apparent specific reason why it's called that. I don't know. Can't tell you. But I can tell you one thing.
There's a mild curiosity.
We do not say I'm going to put a shrimp on the barbie because we don't call them shrimp.
I wasn't going to insult you. Sean,
it's not an insult. It's just something we don't say. We don't. There was this list a few years ago put out by the I think it was actually the American consulate here, and it was all these terms that we don't say any of those things. Like literally none of them. I'll see if I can find it.
I wonder why that is. What do you guys? What do we say? What are the lines we say over there?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, so we say another shrimp on the barbie. Here, what would you guys say that we would say naturally?
I think a lot of Australians think that everyone in the US. So my parents are a great example, right? Never been to the US, but they think that the US is just California and New York. That there's nothing in between. Little bit. Texas is about this big, down at the very bottom of the country, but otherwise the entire country is just like California and New York. Having said that, a lot of people think that Americans all talk like Southerners. So that everyone says y'all is your second word that you say of the day. And then you say it 986 times in a day. So it's sort of funny like that. A lot of Australians, that when they think of the US, they just think of California and New York and that there's just this big space in between that joins the two things up. But that you all speak, like someone from New Orleans or from Texas, and that's it. So it's this really weird mashup thing.
Alex, show him the accent that he's talking about.
Good. I already got yelled at for one accident. It's one and done now.
Right? I reckon y'all need to come back over here.
Well, come on, y'all. Time to go back down to the cattle ranch and get ourselves a little bit of supper going.
Yes, that's how most Australians think that. I was trying to explain, because when I'm over there next month, I'm going to Montana, and someone was asking, well, what's the Montanan accent? And I was like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of like a Midwestern accent a little bit, but it's a little bit sort of less pronounced. But then they're like, well, what's a Midwestern accent? I was like, no, we're just not going to have this conversation.
I think they'd say y'all. I believe that they say y'all there.
I think
right,
probably one of the weird things is that my partner's head can't wrap around that in some places you call every form of carbonated drink Coke. I think that's down south. In some places, they call everything Coke.
Right.
And then some places call it soda, and some places call it pop. But there is, I'm sure it's like Georgia or Louisiana that calls everything Coke.
Right. So everything kind of below the Mississippi is called Coke. Down Louisiana, down Georgia. So it'll Florida, be like,
can I have a Fanta Coke or something? Isn't it?
Yeah. Basically, yeah. I mean, and they'll hand you either a Pepsi or a Coke or whatever.
Yeah.
I know you can't. So I know you can't go to Oklahoma. So you can't go to Oklahoma and ask them for a pop because they don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like you go there and say, "Can I have a pop?"
That's probably like a really big difference with Australia to the US is that when you look at like Australia geographically is about the same size as mainland the US. So once you take away Alaska and Hawaii, but we have a few little differences, but you can go to any state and say, so there's a kid's drink called, well, I would call it a juice box, but some states will call it a Prima, which is a brand of them. Some states would call it a Squirty. Like it's not, but if you went to another state and called it that, they'd know what you're talking about. Like there'd be no confusion of what you're asking for. It's just that they'd know you're from a different state.
Right. That's yeah. They don't understand that here. It's like New York though, because we get this a lot. So we're from New York, but we're from like the state of New York. We're not from the city of New York.
Not from. Everyone thinks New York. That's just Manhattan. There is nothing. It's just a little tiny bit. Nothing else. There is no other part of New York. That's it. Yep,
that's people right here from the U.S. It's like you can talk to somebody else and you'd be like, "Yeah, I live near swamps and mountains and stuff." And they're like, "No, you don't. You live in New York."
Okay, you mean you live in Central Park?
Yeah.
Or
I got me a
hobos.
box.
Yeah, mountains of hobos and the swamp. Please don't hate me.
No, we're not going to do that. I mean, actually, Shawn, didn't you live in New York City for a little bit, though?
Yeah,
So, I mean, you kind of have that accent and that, New York City slang.
What you talking about?
You do definitely have that kind of more sharp tone to your voice, which is definitely like a New York thing, that real, like, if you didn't, how do I say this? If you walked up to someone on the street, you wouldn't think that they were rude, but you felt like they were being a little bit short. And I think that's definitely that New York characteristic. Whereas, people from down south, I'm sure, could be being an absolute ass to you, but it would sound like they're being a lot more gentle.
Right. It's funny because me and Alex, we come from almost the same area. We're only a half an hour away from each other,
Right.
and our talks are like way different. Like the way I talk to the way Alex talks is way different.
Well, I also moved around a lot, because my dad was in the military.
Right.
So, I was down south. I was in California. I was in Italy for a while. So, I mean, my accent's all over the place, y'all.
See, y'all come back now. You hear?
My background's Italian, but
Really?
I'm from northern Italy. Like, I was born in Australia, but I'm from northern Italy, which is why I'm white as shit. Like there's no Sicilian in me. It's Swiss.
Hold on.
There's no Sicilian. I go outside and I turn. Well, people who don't have the background that I do definitely tan. I go red, and then I go that color.
Alex, why don't you ask him how cold it is over there today?
Probably like 70.
What's the temperature here today?
Oh, he's got a spy cam in his house.
27. Oh my god, 80. 84.
Get out of here. We're sitting over here at 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Thank you.
Right.
Over here in America, we use it.
How do you think I'm going to go so I fly in on the 17th of February. I've never driven on the other side of the road before, and I have to drive myself I'm driving from Bozeman to Helena at 3 p.m. after having been in the air for 16 hours.
You're going to have some culture shock for sure.
You never did.
Yeah.
You never did residential over there. You never drove one of your arm trucks.
No, I went straight into commercial.
Nope, they're on the other side.
Yeah, I know. They're driving from the left side, but they're picking up on the left side.
Yeah,
we
still drive on the correct side of the road. It's just that you drive on the other side of the vehicle.
Correct side of the road. Everyone else in the world, besides 3 countries.
Okay. The correct side for us. Correct side us.
Thank you. So if you want to talk about the real way of driving, just go over to Germany, right?
Yeah, unlimited speed. So one of my friends, quite a few years ago now, went to Germany, and his main thing was, I have to drive on the Autobahn. So he hired a Mercedes E-Class, because he's like, I want to drive something that's going to be, like, I don't want to drive a tin can at 250 kilometers an hour. So he's like, I have to get something. So he got an E-Class, and he's like, it was amazing, except you could literally watch the fuel gauge go down. But you could physically, you'd look at it, and then you'd look at it, a couple of minutes later, and it has moved. Like, that's insane. Like, that to drive at that speed, it's not efficient at all. It's fun, but it's not efficient at all.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if we want to get our kicks like that, we just go to a racetrack, go around in a big circle, and just keep doing that for hours.
Or we just drive it down the road.
Yeah, City Shawn over here. Just drive it down the road, y'all.
See, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be a huge shock for me, and they're the things that you would just take for granted. So in Australia, pretty much everywhere there's speed cameras. So every cop car has a speed camera attached to, or like a radar permanently attached to it. So even when they're driving on the highway, they can tell people's speed. And they will pull you over, 3 kilometers an hour. So what's that, about 1.8 miles an hour over? You will get booked. There is fixed speed cameras everywhere. So, at least in the state that I'm in, they have signs telling you where they are. But a lot of the states don't tell you where they are. So you find out when you get a letter in the mail for a couple of $100, if not more. Whereas, a lot of people have said, depending again, state is different, but that you can do probably up to about 5 to 10 miles an hour over and not raise anyone's eyebrows. As long as you're not doing it in like a residential street, that you can do that and no one will pay any attention to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in like a high capacity area like cities or anything like that, they usually have cameras and speed traps and all that set up here. So, but it also depends on the region.
You take it out to the country, and if your car does 100, if your car does 200, it does 200.
Yeah, somebody hit that tree.
Yeah, that's
Paul Walker.
I mean, you don't know how to drive, Alex. You know
Rip Paul Walker.
I'm not saying you take that thing.
Yeah, ripped in half.
Right. So, like here we worry about deer. Now, is it true that kangaroos are like people say they are? Like when we hear of your country,
they'll total your car. They'll total your car. I was only just before Christmas. I'd gone back to Victoria to go get some of our stuff that we had in storage. And my ex-housemate drives a pickup truck, and he hit a kangaroo at like 70 kilometers an hour, so what's that, about 50 miles an hour. And he's got a lot of, pretty much everyone that drives a pickup truck here has a bull bar on it, the metal bar on the front. Had he not had that, it would have totaled the car. But it obviously did nothing to the bull bar because it's, solid steel. But like if you hit one, it'll total your car.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
The problem is they come out at the time when you're not going to see them. So during the day, they're out and about, but you can obviously see them beside the road. The issue is, like a deer and stuff like that, they come out a lot, though. They're really active at dawn and dusk, and that's when you're going to hit them.
Okay.
Now,
so they are as they say. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah. The difference is that we commercially farm them to eat them. So, yeah.
Really?
As opposed, they are. It is really, really good meat. The issue with it is that it has, I think like a lot of game meat, it has a really strong smell when I can't cook it myself. Not because it's, like I have a fond picture of a kangaroo, but the smell that it gives off is horrendous when you're cooking it. It's gone when you eat it, but it's really lean meat though, like venison, so you have to cook it right, otherwise it's like eating a shoe.
What were you going to say, Alex? Sorry, I interrupted you.
So over here, deer have the kind of like the reflective eyes. Do kangaroos have that at all, or no? Because
they're pretty. The good thing is they're pretty light colored. They don't have. I wouldn't say they've really got reflective eyes, but they're pretty light in color. So you can see them, but the issue is if you're going fast enough, it's going to be, no matter what sort of car you have, it's going to be too hard to stop. You're going to hit them. So
that's really cool, man. Like I like asking about animals. Like we had this one guy on, and I was asking him about lions, and found out he didn't have lions.
Lion thing again, Sean? Seriously?
I wanted to,
He's from Nigeria. There's no lions in Nigeria.
I was going to say, did you have the Prince of Nigeria on here, or?
Yeah. Something like that.
Did you have to send him like $500 in iTunes gift cards to get him on, or?
I was thinking like he was sitting around, with all of his people, and lions just came in.
Well, Pat, if you don't make it in Montana as a garbo, you can always be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I will definitely get hauled in front of some sort of commission.
Not here in America. Well, I mean, you'll have the cancel culture people. Let's
definitely. If I'm in your state, I will.
Our state's the best state.
Alvin Bragg will be in front. Alvin Bragg will be there with the handcuffs.
I mean, we got a comedian called Matt Rife over here, and he does some pretty racy jokes.
Yeah, we like it. But is there anything else you'd like to tell everybody, like some words of wisdom or some kind of advice?
Stay away from Australia.
Come here for a holiday. Don't come here to live. Yeah. Look, I don't know. I love the job. I think I've met probably one of the weirdest things that for me has been when I first started doing it. I was obviously a little bit worried about anyone finding out that, I preferred the company of men and not in the way that they do. And do you know what? I've worked in call centers, I've worked in offices, I've worked in retail, and I have had less, I don't want to call it unpleasant moments, but I've had less unpleasant interactions with people doing this job than any of those other jobs. The company I'm at now is kind of a little bit different because it's mostly younger guys, probably up to about the age of mid-50s. We work long hours every day. The company expects a lot out of you. They pay well, but they expect a lot out of you. Some of the bigger companies that would be equivalent to like, Republic and Waste Management are a lot more get the job done, but do it within our parameters, and if you can't get everything, don't worry about it type thing. Those companies tend to have a lot bigger age gap between, or age variance between the drivers, but none of them I've worked at, I've had any issues, because I think almost everyone in this industry is about, it's where your president's taking your country at the moment. It's merit-based. If you can come in, do the job, not fuck shit up, not break the truck, not damage customers' property, you're worthy of their respect, no matter what you do. No matter who you are, no matter what you do. And I think that even talking to a lot of guys over there, it's been exactly the same thing. And I think I would hate to see that change in the industry. I'd hate to see that people start going, you can have all sorts of differences, but I'd hate to see the industry lose that, because I think it's probably one of the best things about the industry is if you come in, you do your job properly, you earn the respect and you keep it. Apart from my first job in this industry, I've gotten every other job literally by walking in and saying, are you looking for a driver? When can you start? And it's not because they're desperate for people, it's because they go, everyone talks in this industry. Everyone knows what you do. If you hit a truck, or if you hit something within 12 hours, everyone's going to know that you've done it. But the plus side of that is, if you're good at what you do, everyone knows that you're good at what you do and that you are worth employing. And I think that's awesome, because I don't think that exists almost anywhere else these days.
Right. Exactly. That's good. So yeah, so I guess we'll wrap this up. I got something else to do in a few minutes. Yeah, so definitely, Patrick, if you want to come back on, definitely reach back out. We'll definitely have you back on. It's been awesome having you here. Tons of fun. I don't know about Alex. He might be upset because you said he couldn't do the accent real well,
Do you know what? Do you know what, though? In all seriousness, I was saying this to Shawn the other day. There is, even no actors can do an Australian accent. Australian actors, if you have a look at like Hugh Jackman, Cate Blanchett, Mel Gibson, they can do any accent that they put their mind to. And it's actually a thing. Australians don't have an accent, which is why when we move away, we don't keep our accent. So within 6 to 12 months of me being over there, there'll be certain words, there'll be certain things that I would say, but I'm not going to sound like I do now. And that's because it's any Aussie that moves to another country. When my sister was in the UK, she was over there for 3 years, and when she came back for at least 12 months, you would have thought she just got off the plane from England yesterday. So don't feel bad, Alex. It's no one from another country can do an Australian accent. Same as no one can do a Kiwi accent. We can say certain things, like fish and chips, bruh, but we still don't sound like a Kiwi.
Well, when you move over to the States, we'll have you back on so we can see you're wearing the cowboy hat, got the belt buckle. Howdy, y'all partners. How y'all doing over here?
I have, over the last 12 months, I have to say, I already owned some of it. It's a type of clothing that I've worn for ages. I have a whole Ariat wardrobe now.
You'll have to take a picture of yourself in one and send it to me so I can use it as a thumbnail for this video.
There you go.
I'll do that. We're going to the city tomorrow for lunch. I will, when I'm dressed up well, I'll take a photo.
Sweet.
Going to Outback Steakhouse.
All right. You guys have a good one.
Fuck no.
Have a good one, everybody.
Your blooming onion bullshit.
You gotta get Americanized, man.
You said you was gonna call him a ginger, so there's a ginger.
That's why I wore red.
Do you know? No. Oh, we forgot, Shawn. I have to do that. So, Alex, do you know what we call? We do call people gingers here, but do you know what we really call gingers here? What? You don't know? Rangers.
No, I have no idea.
Ranger. Ranga. Ranger.
What's that mean?
Really? You can't think about that?
I mean, you guys shorten words too many times. I need the whole sentence.
Would there happen to be an animal that you share your colouring with? Yes. We've made the word fox. We've changed all the letters and turned it into Ranger. Oh my god.
I'm good, Alex.
Shawn, you're just terrible, bro.
Oh dear. So it comes from orangutan. Yeah. And I'm gonna leave you. I'm literally gonna hang up the leave button when I say this, but I have to say,
Don't actually hit the leave button yet.
Yeah, don't leave yet. Stay with us. Stay with us.
I can't leave. No, what? All right, no, I won't.
Yeah.
But so this is really Australian. So I've had a ginger boyfriend in the past, and do you know what you get called when you have a ginger boyfriend? Not the ginger, the person with the ginger.
So you're probably a Rango Wrangler.
Ranger banger.